That was a keeper. He completely missed it. Completely. Yeah, that was definitely a keeper.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. He might not be a keeper. I don't think he is. I think he's going to be 14 and a half. He looked bigger when he came out of the water. Oh, he's a keeper. He was hungry. And then you get caught real bad. We got one. GoPro. Holy spotted bass. He hit it on the way in. Whee! He hit it on the way in and then he was going straight underneath the boat. Touch the water. That's over. He looked a lot bigger out there too. Stretch, baby, stretch. Nope. Another 14. He looked so much bigger when he jumped. GoPro stop. And the way he swam off the bank. That's a catfish. Just guessing, by the way. It's a flathead even.
Just by the way he wiggled, is it?
Holy cow.
Wasn't coming off, huh?
No. He'd have been 100 pounds dying with that thing still through the top of his head. Oh, that was a fast reaction to the spinnerbait anyways.
Doing back there?
I think that's going to be number 2, buddy. Hey, that's a treble hook.
Is it in you?
Not anymore. Nope. I don't know what a keeper fish looks like. $14 and a half. Spawning or getting ready to spawn. Thought you found him. Gross.
Good one.
Bass anyways, it might not be.
It is.
It is. Don't even have to measure that one. Ah.
You got to jump on it, though.
I knocked a big old hole in his jaw. Glad you netted him. A little more like it. You could just catch 4 more like this, and then a big one would at least have a chance. Maybe. I'd like to think.
Where are you going?
Oh, God. Barely hooked. Come to you. Whew. I like that.
I like that a lot. A lot.
Was not expecting that at all. I don't know about you.
No.
I gotta do my picture real quick with my board. Hand me my phone. Caught me completely off guard. Especially after.
They'll all fit in one side, won't they?
Probably.
I just remember when we switched sides of that palm, there's one died on this side.
He's got a cold tag hole in his bottom lip already. That's close to 4. GoPro stop recording.
Hi, GoPro.
GoPro stop recording.
Good news is it saw the whole thing.
Most of it.
From the
part
back.
Of it.
Holy.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot. He's gonna be close. Another one that looked a lot bigger out there. Well, I put it on his head.
Yes. Way out off the thing.
14 and a half. Oh. 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 And that's my... I can make him touch. Oh, was your mouth? His mouth is closed right there.
It's touching.
There's the V.
It's touch.
Close your mouth. He's got like a weird... Yeah, touched pretty easy right there. Oh my gosh, fish. Let me get your picture so I can get you in the dang live well. Hey everyone, it's Blue Basser 86. I'm going to do a breakdown. I fished the Kansas Buddy Bass event on Truman Lake this past weekend on May 17th and 18th with my buddy John. I'm not a big fan of Truman. Everybody knows that. I'm going to try to do this video without rambling too much. Anybody knows me that I don't talk too much until I start talking about fishing, and then I'm hard to get to shut up. So I'm gonna do this without going on too long, but if you're watching this, then you've already watched the what video I have from day one, which I know was not excellent video. It's kind of hard to do in a boat, I guess, when you're not always standing in the same place, and that got me with the big fish. I had moved to the front of the boat and forgot to turn the camera, so I got good footage of John sitting in the back of the boat and of him trying to net my fish for me. But we didn't really have a plan going into this thing. I didn't get to pre-fish at all. John didn't get to pre-fish much because it was so windy on Friday when he went down to pre-fish that he didn't get to do very much. Tournament went out of Sterrett Creek. I don't know that part of the lake. I don't know the whole lake very much at all. But really this was just, I picked a spot. I picked a pocket cove, whatever you want to call it, while I was at work the week before. It had a lot of stuff that I liked, good transition. I planned on the fish being mostly spawn to post-spawn, where they should still be in the pockets, and starting to work their way back out towards the main lake. So I found what I thought would be a good spawning cove, basically, and I thought we should be able to catch fish there, and we would just go from that. Was pretty much our whole plan. So we didn't have much of a plan going into this. Saturday was way windier than they said it was going to be. It was white caps. It was rough all day when it was supposed to be like 2 to 9 mile an hour winds. So it was like a 13 to 15 mile an hour run. We didn't really want to do that, but we did it and it sucked. Bounced through those waves the whole way. John said his hands were numb by the time we were done, but that he started throwing top water. This isn't the exact bait, but it is the River to Sea Bubble Walker 80. He wasn't throwing that color, but he was getting bites on it, and that was what he got his first bite of the morning on it when we got to that spot. And I followed him up after the fish missed and got it on a CNC custom jigs, or CNC custom baits finesse jig in PB&J, and I caught our second keeper of the day on that same bait, and we were having a hard time catching keepers. It sounded like a lot of people were catching a lot of small fish, but since John was getting bit on that popper, I started throwing this, and we were seeing a lot of shad. This chrome, that's a Spro Essential Series E-Pop 80, and just the back of a nothing pocket. That was when we switched spots, and I didn't expect anything, and I caught our big fish of the day that was almost 4 pounds on it. And then I caught our next keeper like 1045 off of another just flat nothing little point, also in that same pocket. We fished the same pocket for 2 days. That's where we caught all but one of our keepers from. And I thought we had plenty of time. We're not gonna have any problem catching our limit. And we did have a limit. We had a 12-inch spot that choked a worm, and it was bleeding bad. Probably wasn't gonna make it. And there's a 1-pound penalty for a dead fish. So the fish was 0.92 pounds. So we made the decision to put that fish back, because it was gonna hurt us if we brought it in and it was dead. And we weren't having a hard time catching fish, so we'll just catch another keeper. So then at the end of the day, we still didn't have a keeper. We ended up running to the dam, long shoal, nothing. And then with like 20 minutes left, we ran back to Sterrett Creek Marina, and we went down behind the marina, and we were coming back, and I was just dragging this Z-Man bang stick through some bushes, and I caught a 16-incher with 8 minutes left. to give us our limit on day one. That gave us the 1281. The next day was supposed to be real calm, and the water was dropping real fast like it had every day leading up to this tournament. We expected the bite to get even tougher. We thought about staying closer because we didn't want to make that run again, and we just kind of made the decision that, we caught fish. It wouldn't make any sense not to go back. And day one, we didn't have any Ned rigs in our boat. We didn't have any Ned rigs tied on, no rods to fish them or anything. Day two, we both had one tied on because we figured it was going to be tougher, especially with the calm conditions. And we started out the morning. John got bit. I told him the night before the reason why I thought he was missing fish, or fish were missing his popper, was because he was fishing it too fast. And when he slowed it down, he started hooking up. The problem was that he was not getting them in the boat. Sometimes it just happens to you where there's nothing you can do. The fish just come off, and man, I don't know what he could have done different. He had a 3.5, 4-pounder, just smoke his popper. He had both hooks in his mouth, and it came up and jumped and just threw it. And that was our first keeper bite of the morning. And it was like an hour and a half with nothing, no more keepers after that. And we were going around a nice little kind of rounded point, rock transition point, where it went from real deep to shallowing up, going back into a little pocket. And I picked up my Ned rig, and it was this exact one. It's a weedless CNC Ned head, and that's a hula stick, Purple Rain hula stick. I was fishing that color because the water was stained back there. It was pretty dark, and I caught like a 17-incher, probably my second cast, for our first fish of the morning. And then 10 minutes later, I think, flipped up next to a big rock, and I caught our big fish, biggest fish of the weekend. That was 420 something, 426, and really changed our momentum, because we were feeling pretty down, not having any fish in the boat. And I kind of had to remind both of us that this was the same time of the morning where we'd caught our first keeper the day before, and now we had two. So it was a pretty good start. And as we went around the next little point, I caught a 12.5-inch and a 13.5-inch spot. They, not the fish you want, but they're both keepers, because since you can keep 12-inch spots, they were both on a Ned rig also. And when we got out and around the next point, there'd been a crappie fisherman on the next little steep bank there, and John was fishing that popper again, and another fish just slammed it, and it was a keeper also, a pretty solid one, not quite as big as the first, but that fish was hooked good also, and it came to the boat pretty quick, and I was ready with the net, and it dove under the boat, and when it came up, it just came up at this weird angle, almost like a 45-degree angle away from the boat, and it just came off, and I reached as far as I could with the net to try to catch it, and couldn't quite reach that far. And that really sucked, because that was two good largemouth that got away. We could have been culling that small spot at that point, and it was still early in the morning, but we knew, the sun was getting up. It was going to get tough, just like it did the day before, and it did. But I had pretty much just locked the Ned rig in my hands at that point, and we went back around the point where I'd caught my bigger fish on the jig the day before, and there's several stumps, trees right there, and I noticed a log that I couldn't see the day before, but the water had dropped enough that I could see it, and I flipped up next to that log, and a fish pulled me straight underneath it on that Ned rig, and I managed to get it back out from underneath there, and that was our fifth fish. And we went to the point where I had caught our fourth keeper, my last topwater fish of the day before, and there was a laydown on that bank that I'd missed one in the day before, and I could see it better since the water had dropped, and it was a cedar tree that was laying next to another stump. and I flipped my Ned rig next to it. You know, it's always a good idea to throw a Ned rig into a cedar tree. But I caught a 17-incher out of that cedar tree on my Ned rig, and that called that little spot, the smallest of the little spots, and we were feeling pretty good having that little spot out, and now we only needed to cull one of the spots. And I picked up a Texas rig with a rage bug on it, and turned around and said, I'm gonna catch his girlfriend out of the tree. And I flipped in there, and sure enough, I caught another keeper out of that tree. It wasn't quite as big. It was like a 15 and a half, but that culled the other spotted bass. And we had five. I think it was 10:30 in the morning, way faster than the day before. And we just kept going. I gave John the exact same colored Ned rig. I was using the exact same setup. I don't know, they were really liking that color. And we fished, just pretty much just put our heads down and fished down the bank. Didn't really pull the trolling motor a lot after that. And we went down and around a little pocket we couldn't fish the day before because there's so many crappie fishermen in it. And we got on around and out to basically the last point before we went out to the main lake on a bluff wall. And I pulled it next to another stump with the Ned rig, and I caught a 17 and a half off of that stump. And that culled like a 15 or 15 and a half incher. It was a pretty solid cull. And we had, I think, an hour and a half, 2 hours left at that point, and we were kind of kicking around. We thought about going to another cove, I think where Osage Marina is, and seeing if we could catch fish there. And we kind of just decided, you know, we're catching fish here. It'd be really dumb to leave these fish and go somewhere else where we don't know if we're going to catch fish or not. There was boats, a couple boats had pulled in there every once in a while, but nobody really fished very long. They all just seemed like they'd come in for 30 minutes and leave. So we really had this whole big pocket to ourselves most of the day, which is just so rare on Truman. It's rare anywhere anymore, but there was a few little pockets that had some stumps, and they were just kind of mud clay banks, but I don't know what it is about Truman. They really seem to like those spots, so we just decided, you know, let's just stick it out here. Let's go run those little pockets that we haven't messed with. Nobody's messed with them. And we caught a few shorts, and one of the last ones we went through, I noticed as I was going by, I didn't see it because of the glare, but there was a stump that was underwater. I could just barely see it because the water was dirty. And I pointed it out to John after I'd already flipped at it, or flipped my bait out, and he pitched up next to it, and he caught a keeper on a Ned rig that it just barely culled our smallest fish. But at the end, second place ended up being 27.70, and we had 27.81. So that last fish might have ended up being the difference. But we ended up getting first place at the Kansas Buddy Bass Truman. It was a roller coaster ride. Day one, the other issue we had, I forgot to mention, it was like 11:30. I opened the live well, and the big fish I caught on the popper was on its side, gold-eyed. It looked dead. I thought it was dead completely. I told John it was dead. I was mad. It's part of why I went to kayak tournaments, was because I don't like carrying fish around all day, because that fish was super healthy when I caught it. There's no reason it should have died, but it looked dead. And we just turned the live well on full blast, let it go on the rest of the day. And when I checked at like 1 o'clock, the fish was back up swimming. I don't know how it came back to life, but it did. That was a 1 pound penalty. If that fish would have died, we didn't win. If I didn't catch that last fish, last minute fish, the first day, we don't win. If John doesn't catch that last fish, day two, we probably don't win. There was just so much stuff that went right for us. you know, I guess they say when it's your time to win, it's your time to win. I'm glad it was our time to win, because it was fun. I don't like Truman, like I said, but had a lot of fun. It was a good time fishing with my buddy, and I'm glad everything worked out for us at the end. So hope I didn't ramble on too long here. I don't know, I can't see my timer on my camera, but I just wanted to do this breakdown. I forgot to bring the battery out with me to run my GoPro on day 2, so that's why there's no footage. I'm used to just running it off my boat battery in the kayak. I had a little battery pack to run it off of in the bass boat, but I left it charging in the cabin when we went out on day 2, so I didn't have any way to run the GoPro more than however long the one battery ran, and I didn't want to just get an hour of footage. So anyways, we got another maybe a tournament coming up this weekend, and then the next one will be the next KKA tournament at Big Hill the first weekend of June. So hopefully you at least enjoyed this a little bit better than no breakdown at all or no footage at all from day 2. So that'll be all for this one, so we'll catch you next time. GoPro stop recording.